Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Adam Chaplin, the bloodiest movie we've watched on this channel.
Written, directed, special effects by, and starring Emanuele De Santi. This is the first Nercostorm movie that we've ever reviewed. It's been recommended probably only a handful of times in all of our time on YouTube, but I've heard of Nercostorm. They're like, you gotta watch that. You're Bloodbath, you have to watch that. I get it now.
Now we're moving on to Tater City.
This is a recommendation from Anthony Michelli over on Patreon. Adam Chaplin, I think, is a dumb name for this guy. He's too badass to have just Adam. Sorry, Adams out there, but I feel like he deserved a better name. Anyway, we're not gonna spoil a ton because there's not really a lot to talk about. It's really just a splatter film. If you like what we say, you'll still enjoy it even with spoilers. So what do we like? I gotta say, the gore is basically the reason anyone is going to watch this movie. It's an indie production that just has over-the-top splatter all over the place. Like literally buckets of blood are thrown on walls every time Adam moves.
It's like anytime he punches someone's face, it's as if he's punching a watermelon filled with blood and it's just exploding.
It is kind of weird because basically everybody walks around looking like they're wearing a practical head. You know their face is about to get hacked up with a hatchet of some sort. Some juggalo looking like old school Sting is coming with a hatchet and he's gonna cut your fucking head off. I do apologize for how edited all of this footage is probably going to look on YouTube because I can't show 90% of this movie. Every single scene has blood in it.
Besides all the heads exploding from his like wild fist of fury, we've also got really good like arm and leg snaps.
I do like the fact that it's kind of like an anime. Everything is over exaggerated. So if he needs to punch a guy, he's punching someone like 50 fucking times, maybe more than that. Or like he'll run up and it'll slow down and he'll deliver this punch that just knocks somebody's head right off. It's just so cool. I love like the style of it.
And then there's Adam, who is pretty badass. He looks like a wrestler. He put John Morrison's body to shame. Like you got Johnny Drip Drip, we got freaking soaking wet Adam here who's just dripping
in blood and hair grease. I also like the idea with him too. Like, so the whole concept is this guy is trying to get revenge because his wife was kidnapped and burnt alive by Denny, who looks like he's straight out of Splatterhouse.
He kind of looks like the main villain from My Hero Academia, All for One.
If you mix him with Jason from Jason Goes to Hell, Meatball Head Jason and that guy, say this is Denny.
Then Denny has two kids somehow that look nothing like him. I don't know how Denny was having kids.
But it doesn't matter to Adam Chaplin. He's gonna kill you and your kids.
The best part of Adam Chaplin, he has a ghoulie-esque demon on his shoulder that I absolutely love.
Lord Voldemort just hanging on his shoulder, whispering in his ear sweet nothings. But those sweet nothings are actually, go murder that guy, punch his fucking head off, dude.
Like, is this just low or is this a demon? Who knows?
It's a cool concept. And like the origin that we see when Adam found his wife burnt to a crisp, she threw a cross over his shoulder and it burnt a hole in his back, and that's where the demon lives. But the demon is basically just like inside of him. Nobody else can really see it, but sometimes they can. If they catch a glimpse somehow of this imaginary figure, they just start spilling blood out of every hole they have. Oh fuck, here we go. Somebody pour the red Kool-Aid all over the goddamn place. I can't get over how much blood there actually is in this. And how long it took us to watch a movie that actually like lived up to our name. You know, everything's Bloodbath and Beyond, Bloodbath TV. This is the biggest bloodbath of them all.
That and Brain Dead. We're really not watching the bloody movies.
Everyone's like, you don't deserve 100K. You guys don't even do the bloodbathy movies.
You're not bathers.
You're not fucking bathing. What are we even doing here? Now, what didn't we like? I gotta say, I wanna start it with what I already said before, with everybody looking like rubber, because they're clearly wearing prosthetics. And I thought for a second it's because they were recycling actors to play different roles or something, but no, it's just weird. They all look like the grandma from Thanksgiving 3, and it drove me kind of crazy.
Felt like it was Tokyo Gore Police, like being deformed is like the norm, but it wasn't established.
Either say, oh, there was like a chemical explosion and everybody is mutated now, or make the prosthetics better so they look not like prosthetics.
If only that was the case. It's like the old cartoon show, Mutant League. A bunch of athletes were playing football, and then the earth split, and they all went down. They became mutant athletes.
If we just had that, well, Adam Chaplin, he punched too hard, opened up the world. They all got acid on their face.
And speaking of things on their face, the CG blood was god-awful. All of the visual effects were terrible in this film.
I'll agree, because like the practical effects are great. There's so much practical blood and arms and limbs and shit all over, but then they also will have like a green screened arm like moving around, or blood that's not even like CG, but it's like somebody just went into After Effects and painted red on somebody's face.
Or let's apply a particle effect, and it's like they didn't feather it out. It's just sharp, like polygonal objects shooting everywhere.
Yeah, it definitely has some issues, but I mean, there's a lot moving around in this movie, so I think that it kind of fits the style. Like, the style is so fast-paced, and you do have to think this was, what, 2011? VFX were like really blowing up, because you can tell that they watched Andrew Kramer from Video Copilot.
Hey, what's up? Andrew Kramer here.
All of those old school effects are in this, including like the slow motion bullet.
I'm sure at the time this was mind-blowing,
Right.
But like watching it now, it's visibly bad.
Yeah, so take this part with like a grain of salt, because like I think this was probably fucking awesome at the time. It's just like watching Reboot. Like if you were gonna watch Reboot now, you'd be like, well, that's fucking dog shit. But at the time you're like, oh my God, this is awesome.
As fast-paced as this movie seemed, it really wasn't. There was a lot that dragged out. There's always a really cool fight scene, but story-wise, it is slow.
There are definitely spots where you're just like sitting there listening to Dr. What's-His shit say, here's my backstory, but it's not that simple, guys. You sit there and you look at my big ugly head for 10 minutes while I tell you everything. And then later on, it just shows a flashback anyway. They could have just taken out like some of his monologues and how his face was eaten by a dog, because it shows it later on. So why talk about it?
It also leads to a lot of buildup with no payoffs whatsoever, because a good portion of this film is based on a character named Mike, who is the badass, like old school wrestling face paint guy with his meat cleavers. So he's running around doing awesome things. He's the hired goon by Denny to go kill Adam. You get probably about a half hour of this movie dedicated to Mike. When he finally gets to Adam, it's done in 10 seconds. It's literally One Punch Man syndrome. That's what it is.
Which is really awesome. But like, come on, give us a fucking fight.
It's great when you see the practical effects because it's so bloody and gory, but it sucks because Adam doesn't really like lose. There's no like reason to root for him, because like he just beats everyone with one punch. I'm not spoiling what happens in the ending, but man, it sucks. All of this, and this is how you finish it.
Yep, that's about what we can say, because we definitely can't show you it. Not even because I don't want to show you spoilers, like there's just too many body parts and blood and shit all over the place, so just can't show you. That's about it, so why don't we go to our final thoughts and ratings? As our first foray into Nercostorm, I thought this was pretty fun. It was crazy bloody. I really like the style and the action. Adam Chaplin is badass as hell, and just the universe that they had was cool, but there's not a lot here. It's really just like cool fight scenes and practical effects and blood, and just like the story is kind of throwaway, which is fine if they didn't focus on it as much as they did. I think it is worth watching, but don't expect some amazing movie, because it's not that great, but it is cool. So I'm gonna give this 2.5 literal Squire Boys out of 5.
I liked all the fight scenes. I liked the cinematic choices and the look, but I just wasn't a fan of the story. It's not that they didn't try to have a story, but there was no payoff whatsoever. It feels like this is better suited for like a compilation list than like an hour and 45-minute film. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 2.5 John Waters cameos out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film. And if you want the opportunity to recommend a movie for us to review, check out the link in the description and the pinned comment. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay up to date with everything here on Bloodbath and Beyond.